This content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. The Better Traders is not a broker dealer. We are not an investment advisor. We have no access to non-public information about publicly traded companies or cryptocurrencies. And this is not a place for the giving or receiving of financial advice, advice concerning investment decisions, or tax or legal advice. The value of investments and the income derived from them can go down as well as up. Investors may not get back the amount they invested, and past performance is not a guide to future performance. Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Moon and Papa. I hope everyone is doing well today. I have a little bit of a heads up on me. So today I had a health checkup at the clinic, and I you know, when you go to get blood drawn, it's like the most exciting experience ever. So they double dipped. So I got over here, they messed up. And then over here is where they actually did it. So after that was done, I started to feel a little bit woozy and basically passed out. So that was a little under an hour ago. So I'm feeling okay. I ate some food. But if I seem weird, that's why. So I want to welcome everybody here to the live stream. Usually I don't have to have blood taken before my live streams. This is like a weird anomaly, but I want to say a warm welcome to everybody watching from all over the world. It is 11:04 a.m. Japan Standard Time on Thursday, and that's when these live streams happen. If you like these live streams and you want to see more of these, or you want to get notified for the next one, go to my YouTube channel, and over here in upcoming live streams, just hit the notify me button. I've had lots of videos, and more interestingly, all the videos this week have been focused on Ethereum for many good reasons. So going to the charts right away, we're not going to spend any time worrying about it, trying to figure out what's going to go on. We need to figure out what's happening with the market. So oh, let me fix this. Let me see. No, there. Haha. So that was a weird sound. It's like a weird Mario sound. Anyway, let's go. See, so getting blood drawn, almost passing out. This is what you get. So let's take a look at the daily time frame. Ethereum is having a little bit of a move right now. When I say a little bit, I mean literally a little bit. If you look at the chart, it's just up 1% for the day after being down, the last 4 days or so. This is a pattern that I see emerging very consistently for Ethereum. It's normal to see it hit a peak, kind of go sideways, and then breaks out. And then it goes down, it goes sideways, then it breaks out. So don't get too excited right now. Looking at the top 25 to 30 market cap, these are the tokens that I look at regularly. Ethereum is doing okay, but actually Atom is the one that's winning right now. It has the best trajectory, and it's making some really good chart formations. But we want to focus on Ethereum. So focusing on Ethereum, thinking about what we're looking at now. There are a couple of things that are good and a couple of things that are bad. So we're going to focus first on this support fan that I have here. And these are the green lines. So yesterday's candle closed below this really tight support line. Tight as in really like high angle. When I look at supports, horizontal is going to be the strongest that you can have, whether it's support resistance. But as soon as it starts to angle up from being 180 degrees going up to what, 90 degrees, like a 90-degree angle, that's where things start to get a little bit less strong. For instance, this is a very strong line of support, in my opinion, the same way as this line right here is a very long and strong line of supports. Notice how flat it is. Notice how much of a tight angle this is, how high it is. It's basically pointing straight up. So I talk about this a lot in the Better Traders Club when I'm showing my charts and giving some insight and things like that. So whenever we see really high, like really basically pointing up angles, we know that they're going to be knocked out first, that they're not going to be strong. They're going to be very weak. So knowing that we've confirmed a close yesterday, it depends on what happens today. So as far as Ethereum goes, I'll be watching it to see, is it actually going to break and close above the trend line? Not just hit it at 1900, but close above, and then the next day has to close above. Now, if that happens, then it's a little bit of a dance, kind of like this. And it's not such a bad thing. And we've seen Ethereum do this a couple of times too. So here, for instance, is it breaks below, and then here it comes up to try to test, it can't. And now it sees it as what? Resistance. So this stuff is so elementary and it's so fun because you see this play out so many different times. So now we're looking at the same thing. So we have a really high angle. Again, zooming out, that's a really high angle. Now the second one isn't so high. So it makes more sense to me today to see Ethereum struggle to get above 1911, 1920. But if it does, it has this resistance here on the TBO right here at 2011. And 2000, it's a lot of zeros, I said in the club. And also in this week's video, which if you missed it, it's a long one, but it's a good one. This one right here, the TBO market update. I have chapter markers. I talk about a lot of different things, but it is just about Ethereum. And I said on Monday, 2 days ago, that there are lots of things cooking over here on the charts that don't look good for Ethereum for the short term. But a lot of it depends on what's happening on the traditional markets like the S&P and the Dow Jones. Those are at very pivotal points right now. So if those fail where they are, it's going to bring crypto down with it. So let's talk about some possible targets. So our first thing that we're going to do is we're going to use something really simple. Let's put that there. Is just use the TBO. So looking at the TBO, zooming out on the daily time frame, we can see that we have support here from back there. And of course, we have long support right there at 1,000. We don't really want to see that. And we have support here and here. There's not a whole lot. So to me, it seems like, judging off the TBO, of course, we're looking at a weak line of support here. It's kind of supported back here in 2021, and it is supported here, and we have it as resistance. So this would be a good point of support to look for. And if things get really nasty and hairy, which I don't think they're going to get that bad, but if they do, then this would be the next place to look to buy. So let's talk about something else other than these two. Let's look at some Fibonacci lines. This is going to be really interesting, I think. I always really enjoy looking at fibs. So looking at the 2018 fib retracements, this is going back to the previous market high, the all-time high in 2018, measuring down to the low in December. So this is giving us some good projections of where price might find support / resistance. So funny enough, if we're thinking about where are we going to find our supports, we're going to be looking at this line, this previous all-time high, as a line of support. So we got to add that in about 1600. So looking at and adding other Fibonacci lines, let me hide these. So now we have the most recent one drawn from our new all-time high, coming down here to the dip in June, on June 18th. So funny, maybe to you it's funny. It's not a surprise to me, but funny enough, Ethereum is having a difficult time breaking above 2000. Why? Because we also have a Fibonacci line as resistance above 2000. And 2000 is also a lot of zeros, so it makes a whole lot of sense. So first line of support that we see for fibs is the 382 at 1691, and then 236 at 1317. So bringing back these lines, we see some correlation with the TBO here, and bringing back our retracement. So we can see that we do have levels and areas of support. And now this last final one is drawn from, let me make it more clear. This one is drawn from, wait a second. Oh, my bad. This one, 1121 to 620. This one I made a mistake on. This is from, oh, the all-time high. Yes, again, sorry. Double dipped, taking blood today. Sorry. So this is from our more recent high in April down to the low. And this is a really cool technique that I teach in the Smarter Trader course. So where we're layering Fibonacci lines to find complementary resistance / support. So we can see we have some complementary resistance right here at 2000. If we start to layer in lines, we're going to see lots and lots of different lines that may look a little bit weird It just looks like a mishmash, but there are lots of support lines that we can see the price previously paying attention to a lot. Let me get rid of these ones from the TBO, and we can see it was difficult to break above this for a while. Once it did, it counted as support. Then we have all of this sideways business. Why? Because all these lines from the Fibonacci lines are right there. Again, lots of a tight movement, tight range. We go up, there's nothing there. So where are we going to bounce? It makes more sense to bounce here up to 1775 first. And this does line up with the TBO right there. And then to see if it's going to make a test up. So let's make the case for a bear flag. So for a bear flag, we're going to need our parallel channel. And this is going to be a really tight one, to be honest. We're going to do like this. And like this. Oh, that's wrong. There we go. That's much better. So this is a really, really, really high angled bear flag. If the bear flag is broken to the downside, as in Ethereum goes sideways, but it can't hold in this range, there is a support right here, by the way. I shouldn't have dragged that over. But there is a support right here at 1746. But note, that's basically right here where it could bounce. This is going to be pivotal. If it breaks out and closes below, it could take a big fall. Could. Anything's possible. But given my analysis for Bitcoin and thinking that we are still pretty close, not amazingly close. Let me go to this chart instead. No, not 8 cap. There we go. Looking at this one and thinking about our timeline, our trend projection, our time projection, all that stuff. Let me go ahead and bring the TBO insights. Now we're going to go to the weekly time frame. So I've made this analysis with the TBO for a while. And first and foremost, I did say that I do expect Bitcoin to range sideways for a while. I don't expect us to move up to 28K. And 28K is the gold zone. Like this is where we are back into a normal trading zone. It's good. These measurements down here, 19 bars and 23 bars, refer to the amount of time the price of Bitcoin stayed below, out of the cloud. So we can see 19 bars refers to 2018 to 19, and over here 23 bars refers to 2015 into 2015 only. So notice that it's reducing the amount of time. 23 bars, 19 bars. So looking at 19 bars, that would mean that we should see the price of Bitcoin come back. It'll probably come up here to like 27 or so, because the fast line on the weekly time frame is moving down. That's a wrong angle. Let me see if I can do this better. Yeah, it's doing a little bit of this, and it's going to smooth out. So what I'm expecting to have happen is Bitcoin to go sideways and to fall and to find resistance at 21. So that would be a little bit of a drop from where it is right now, 10%, which will cause some fear, cause some panic. But as that happens, it's going to drag this down too. So if it drags this down, let me see if I can move this. Nope, I can't. If the price of Bitcoin does go down here, it's going to drag this down even more. But that means that the cloud is now a lot lower, which means that it won't take as long for it to rebound up into the cloud. And that's what we're really waiting for, is Bitcoin to get into the cloud, because as soon as that happens, we could still go sideways. But I'm expecting BTC to make a move as soon as it's in the cloud. Like this, where it makes a nice move up, or maybe even something like this, where we have this mid-cycle bull move on Bitcoin. So this is what I'm expecting and looking for in regards to what I think Bitcoin is going to do. And as far as the time frame, again, it looks like it could happen as late as mid-November or as early as October. But again, this is reducing the amount of time. Why? Because in 2015, there wasn't demand for Bitcoin. 2018 and 2019, a lot more demand for Bitcoin. There's more demand for Bitcoin right now, 2022, than there was 4 years ago. Therefore, it makes more sense to me to see a move down, but a quick shot up, at least to get into the cloud. So if we were to take this idea of things taking less time, and if we're going to just play devil's advocate and reduce it by 4 weeks. That would basically be the middle of September. And that would mean that if we're going to see Bitcoin reduce the amount of time it's below the TBO cloud, then by mid-September to almost late September, September 19th, we should see Bitcoin at about 27,000. So why does this matter for Ethereum? Well, it matters a whole lot because Ethereum, while it does have the merge is happening in September, I believe. September 9th, I think is when it's slated. So it's pretty soon. So if we're thinking about the merge right here, then that means, let me add it down here so we can see the date. That means that what we should expect to see happen for Ethereum is that if things do go south for the Dow, for the S&P, that it makes sense to see Ethereum take a little bit of a move down, but to recover much quicker than Bitcoin because there's news coming, because there's hope in the markets, because there's a lot riding on this Ethereum merge. Now, when it actually happens, I wouldn't be surprised if it actually did something more like this, where it goes sideways and it moves up, and then just before it happens, it comes down. Mainly because there's just this aspect of buy the rumor, sell the news, right? So looking at some resistance lines that we have here, and now we have a new one we get to draw. How exciting. So we're going to take this to this. So now we have another one. And again, we can take that same concept that I explained before, where the more vertical that trend line is, the faster it's going to be broken and the weaker it is compared to the flatter, the more horizontal a trend line is. So what we're seeing here is a more likely trend to be broken. We're seeing support here at this range of 1728. So it makes sense to fall out of this little range to get tested and to break above, but we'll see. We'll see. Again, there's a lot of crazy stuff happening right now. So let's look at some other stuff. On the RSI, I've been looking at this fan, and this is the weekly resistance fan for RSI, for Ethereum. So interestingly enough, last week it hit and closed at this blue line, this nice blue line drawn back here from the 3rd of May, 2021, confirmed here. Rather, that's our pivot that we're drawing to. And then it's giving us this line. So it was rejected right there. That's okay. And it is lower than the previous peak that we saw in March. So it makes sense to see it bounce off of this value of 50 first before doing a test to go higher. And then, of course, now we have our oversold values up here, which it could take some time. Now, historically speaking, which is a good way to look at it, going back here to 2015, we can see we have a high here. So let's just do a little bit of reenactment, shall we? So we can see when it broke above and what it did after. As soon as it broke above, then it just made new all-time highs, because look at the date, March 20th, or the week of March 20th, 2017. That was basically the start of the bull run, where Ethereum really shot up from $20 all the way up to $1,400. So after cooling off, we can see it finding its bottom, and now this is more similar to what we're looking at. We have a peak up here, and we have a line that we're going to draw to right there. We're going to do the same fan. So that gets cracked, that gets cracked, boom. So what happens? Well, when it finally breaks above the highest, when it goes above 70, we do see a relief rally for the price of Ethereum. It shoots up 166% mid-cycle. So this is the kind of thing that I'm expecting to see happen. Now, that wasn't the bottom. That was after the bottom right here, December. Everything's all crunched up, so it's really hard to see. So here's the bottom, and then it capitulated, and then we had a relief rally up where a lot of things moved up. Again, that's the kind of thing that I'm expecting to see happen with a lot of pairs. It does matter what happens with the Dow. It does matter what happens with the S&P and Bitcoin, but we've also seen previous relief rallies happen at similar times. Let me take away all the fib lines. And we're looking at the wrong one. There we go. So we're going to take away that, take away that, take away that. And we're going to look at 2014 and 2018, their bar patterns, just to give an idea. So that the bar patterns are basically projections to figure out when this could happen and what it could look like. And what we see happening in both times, where we see the price go into the cloud and rally, go into the cloud and rally. This is more of what I'm expecting, again, because the demand is greater for Bitcoin. So seeing a mid-cycle move to test up to this 38, maybe 40K range. What does that mean for Ethereum? Well, oh, this is the wrong one. Do Kraken. So if it falls down a bit, that's fine. But seeing Bitcoin move up to 40K and it's currently at 32, that's a nice big move. It would make sense to see Ethereum try to make a move up to about 2,400. So I know this is totally counter, again, what we're seeing on the Dow, what we're seeing on the, this is the one we need, what we're seeing on the Dow, what we're seeing on the S&P 500. There's a lot of stuff that we have to pay attention to, that things are looking a little shaky right now. And we could see a lot of downside momentum. So let's talk about that for a quick second. So I'm running out of time. But one thing to keep in mind is that we haven't seen the SPX test this overhead trend line. It's only come up to our fib line. That's really important to note. When it comes up and it hits resistance, it matters what happens next. As in, if it can break above resistance, game over. Everything's bullish. Everything's going to explode up. But that is a very, very low likelihood. Why? Because when we look at what happened last time, it was rejected, or rather it created that trend line. Look at the angle of the trend line. It's pretty flat. Now remember what I said before. If the trend line is more vertical, then there is a higher likelihood of it breaking above it. Right there. And this is where it was before. So this is the kind of thing where it's making me feel more like a rejection is more possible. So what does that mean as far as where the S&P falls? Because whatever S&P does, multiply that by 2 for crypto, at least for Bitcoin and Ethereum, and everything else, multiply it by 3. Because when the traditional markets really start to plummet or move, crypto overreacts. So a move down to 0.5 would be a 3% hit. Move down here to the 382 is 6.5. So we're looking at 6% on crypto, or 12, or if we're going to multiply by 3, 10% or 18%. It all depends. And again, if we're going to use that same idea of our support lines being super duper tight, we have a line of support here. We change that to green. We have a line of support here. And you can see how super duper vertical that is, right? Which again means what? It means that there's a higher chance of this being broken first. That's what it means. Does it mean it's going to get broken right away? No, because a chart can just moon. It can go parabolic. So we got to pay attention to traditional markets to figure out what could happen next. That's just the big idea. That's what I wanted to really talk about in today's live stream. So I need to get my chat up. Good. All right. So a couple of things to remind you about. I've been posting more content from the Better Traders Club on my public server. I'm just trying to drip a little bit of information so that people can understand what to expect and what could happen next. But not all the information that I share in the club. So it's just like a little bit of a drip. So again, if you like what you're seeing there and you want to join the Better Traders Club, go to bettertraders.com. And at the top, you can see club. There's a ton of stuff in the club, the DCA backtester, the better dip signals, the TBT forecast or TBT stop loss hunting alert, the community aspect, DCA bots, watch lists, private live streams. There's a ton of stuff with the club subscriptions. So to give you all an idea of what it's like in the club, I'm going to be posting more stuff in the public channel. It's something I've been wanting to do, but it's just, yeah. Okay. I'm going to need to drink something sugary or have like some fruit, because boy, oh boy, I'm feeling it. It's hilarious. Okay, so the big, oh, and there was one request that I had to check a chart. And I'm going to do that because I would feel bad if I forgot. And that was for Cake USDT. Well, that's what I'm looking at on Binance. So this person was wondering, just wanted me to look at Cake just to see. So looking at it without anything drawn on it, it's really interesting that I've talked about this before, and I still find it so fascinating that you can use TA principles on indicators like RSI to gauge the trend, when the trend is broken to get confirmation, lots of fun stuff like that. So yes, it was super overbought at 85 over here. So as far as Cake recovering, there's nothing wrong with it, by the way, being that high. I mean, when we're in a bullish situation, like back here, August 2021, we can see the price raging while it's well above 70 right here. So July 30th, let me find the price right there. So the price shot up a ton, 78% cent. And that's while the RSI was falling. So there's nothing wrong with it falling or losing strength, but we do need to pay attention, because if we see an obvious trend like this being broken, that's a sign of weakness. So looking at the TBO alone without RSI, things are good. I mean, we have an open long confirmed a long time ago. It's confirmed 16 days ago, which is good. The price has been moving up. It's coming down into the fast line. It's not bad. So looking at the lines of the TBO, the only thing I don't like is that the fast line is curving down. We're flattening. This is up, but that's to be expected because it's slow. And of course, the slow line here is pointing down, but again, flattening out. If you're looking to accumulate Cake, I would wait for it to fall a bit more, because like I said, if the S&P and the Dow are rejected, Bitcoin falls 2 times, like top 100 falls 3, everything else is going to fall a lot more, because everything will overreact to whatever Bitcoin's doing. Case in point, Bitcoin makes a move up and so does Ethereum. What does Cake do? It shoots up 63%, overreacting. So TBO looks okay-ish. On the 4-hour though, this is what I was expecting to see. Breaking below the cloud is never a good sign. We got clear warning of that here with our close long, cross down, open short. That's our bear market recipe. So I mean, we'll see, but it's not looking strong for Cake. So without the TBO, if we're just going to play around with some trends, which is always fun to do. Let me zoom in a little bit. There we go. So this trend has held up really well. It broke out there a little bit, but actually it fell below. So I'm going to say this is still confirmation. Look at that. Wow, 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 wow. Okay, so you want to know when is a good time to enter Cake? Well, you could do it one of two ways. You could wait for it to fall way down here again, or the safer bet would be to wait for it to break above and to be confirmed closed above. This one was a good shot, but we only had 1-2 days closed above, broke below. This would be the end. This would be the signal to me to get out, because it's not going to break up. It's not going to hold above that trend line. But you know what? No market ever stays in one direction forever. So I think that when Cake has its day, and note the degree of this trend line is pretty much, it is flatter, but still, when it's broken, these are the kind of charts that will do like a mega move, because it's been tested so many times. It's going to turn so many heads, right? So that's what I'm seeing as far as that goes. If we're going to do some fibs, which are always fun to draw too, we're just going to do the ultimate fib. Yeah, obvious resistance here. We have, oops, no, this got inverted. Let me fix that. Nope. Let me reverse it. There we go. Okay, so we have resistance at basically $5, 7.5, 10, 14, 23. Yeah, this, if we bring back that trend line, actually, I should not have deleted that. Oh, I know. There we go. And now we're going to do our fibs. We'll do it from here so it doesn't give us that. No. To zoom in. There we go. So let's see if there's any correlation. Yeah, so it's going to be tricky to break above 490. So it makes sense for it to fall down first. We do have a line of support that is held. It'll most likely test here, bounce, bounce, and then it's going to get into this nice little setup. If it can break above, boom, then it's going to take off. It's going to take some time. It's not going to be right away, but that's what I'm seeing for cake. Okay. I see one more question in the chat. Yeah, vampires suck your blood. Yes. Which TBT DCA do I suggest? And I believe you're referring to the TBT signals that we have. So as far as which bot or which trading pairs, all that stuff, I actually have videos on my channel where I do a review of my top 10 stuff and the DeFi and TBT signals, but I honestly cannot remember where that was. Oh yeah, here it is, signals update. So if you want to watch it, it's this one, 3 commas marketplace bot performance for July. So it's this one right here with the goofy face and it says signals update. So watch that video because that way you can look at least July performance and understand what I look at when I set up my own bots. Okay. I need to eat something. It's been a pleasure, but I need to lay down. So again, if you haven't already, please do join my public Discord. The link is down below, and I'll be posting more regular updates, little drip feed from the Better Traders Club there. And until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.